Being around the most creative people in the industry is where we wanted to be.
But what we love most of all is taking everything that we've learned over the last 14 years, whether it's fashion or photography or all of our wedding and event experience, and bringing it to you each and every week. Hi, I'm Stephanie Boye, and you are watching Notes from the Lightbox, where we bring you the best wedding tips and advice delivered straight. In 1950, only 20% of couples who married were from different faith backgrounds. Today, it's up to almost 45%. And those interfaith backgrounds can present a bit of a problem when the couples are getting ready to walk down the aisle. I thought there was no better person to bring on board to talk to me about this than Alisa Tongg. She is a storyteller and a celebrant for aisle-bound couples. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me
Well,
here
thank
today.
you for coming.
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk to you. Alisa, now with so many people coming together from different backgrounds, how is it possible to honor both of the couples in one ceremony?
Sure, that's a great question and one that I deal with all the time. As a trained celebrant, I've studied the ceremonies of many different religions, different cultures, and specifically weddings throughout history.
Right.
And I can tell you that all of those ceremonies, for the most part, have the same points that they hit on. Whether it's the way that you proceed down the aisle, how you leave your family, that's part of all of them. There's a blessing, pretty much in every different type of religious or cultural ceremony. There's the promises that you exchange, setting expectations for the future, and a final crossing into a new identity with your mate, your partner in life. So they're all the same. And so when you want to bring in different aspects of your traditions, you can look to one or two of those ceremonial ingredients and make it custom to a particular religion or a particular cultural tradition that you want to include in that.
I have to say, in my own experience, I think that's really beautiful because I guess I grew up Catholic. I didn't know the symbolism of walking down the aisle, of leaving who you were. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but it's very nice to hear what each step in the ceremony represents because that is beautiful. You're leaving who you were. You're being blessed by the community. You're sharing promises to each other, and then you're crossing a threshold. I love that idea of just crossing into a new part of your life.
These can be tricky waters to navigate. Two families with a rich tradition, bring them all together, plus your set of friends that you have from all different points in your life. But I call myself a storyteller and a celebrant because I believe that telling someone's love story in ceremony, describing how they met, how they fell in love, what they've been through together, what you're hoping for in the future, those things have a way of unifying the goodwill in the room. One thing that I love to pitch to my couples to include in their ceremonies is the passing of the peace, which so many people are familiar with from when they grew up going to a church service or a synagogue, and that's when everyone is invited to stand up during the wedding ceremony and introduce themselves and offer a handshake, hug, or a kiss, and the words, "Peace be with you," to the people around them. And I think that that is such a beautiful thing to include when you have people coming from different faiths or different cultures, to take a moment during the ceremony and acknowledge that people are coming from all over the place, all different sorts of relationships and connections to the couple, and they all have something in common, and that is their love and excitement for this new beginning for the couple. And so,
I mean, because how many wedding ceremonies do you go to where it's you sit on this side, this is the bride side, that's the groom side, and this is sort of like we're all here for the same
I love
blessing of this couple.
And to me, that I've had couples get back to me and say that that was one of the most memorable times of their whole wedding ceremony, and that's the unscripted part, you know, where people are having genuine interactions with strangers.
The other thing about that is it is, you know, something that would make parents, you know, who may feel a little bit uncomfortable, feel a level of comfortability because it's something that they recognize from their own, you know, history of going to church or synagogue or whatever. So that's nice. It's beautiful. So clearly, if you have good relationships with your parents, you want to be considerate of them. And that's what can be a little bit tricky in these interfaith, intercultural marriages or ceremonies. So what do you recommend?
Yeah, I would recommend trying to be as inclusive to your parents as possible throughout the planning process and actually during the ceremony. Invite them to participate in a formal way. So I might start out by having a conversation with both sets of parents to find out if there is something that's meaningful from their tradition that they have always imagined you being a part of too.
Because I think what you're saying is parents have thought about this for a long time, longer than you've probably thought about your wedding. They've thought about the day that their children get married. And that may be the source of what makes them hesitant to embrace maybe a different kind of a ceremony. So if you include them, you know, and this is setting a great foundation for your future relations with your in-laws and your parents, you know, establishing yourself as a new couple, but, you know, putting your parameters on, but also giving them a say and making them feel honored and valued, really.
Yeah, and I'd say parents, they do care about the wedding and the ceremony in that moment, but I think that they care even more about what kind of life their child is going to have. Who's their partner that they're going to choose, and what direction are they going to go in. And like you said, having those intentional, open conversations reassures parents. So what are some thoughtful ways to include parents?
I love that.
One of my favorite ways is the Jewish tradition of the processional. So in the Jewish processional, each person that makes part of the couple, whether it's the bride and the bride and the groom and the groom, they come in escorted by both of their parents.
Oh, that's so
and
nice.
It's a way of saying that these people have prepared this person, you, for this moment, for this next stage in your life. And they're not, they're not in the circle of love. They're not at the altar either with you. They're dropped off at their seats, so they witness it.
Yeah.
But they're still part of that very important moment of bringing and presenting the bride or the groom.
I love that. I
To
would have loved
marriage,
to have had my mother walk me down the aisle too. Why not?
It's great. It's so sweet when I see couples include both the mother and the father. And I love to see it when grooms take a moment to honor their special relationships too, and not just appear up front with the person who's officiating.
Yeah, because
their journey is just as important of what made them. When you offer those opportunities for inclusion, people are touched.
It melts away there,
Yeah, and it really makes it for a really beautiful moment.
You know, and it's just coming to me now, but I actually think it's probably very true. Even just having this conversation with you, I realize that, you know, so many times we go through things and it's like a pattern and we're used to it. But when you mix it up, when you change it around, when you
redefine it for yourself,
you make it an amazing experience for everybody. And it is truly that, a life experience. And that's really what you want your wedding to be. First, representative of you as the couple. But second, something where people are actually engaged in what's happening at all times because it's not familiar to them. They're not just going through the motions. So I really love this idea of having your own sort of unique ceremony, bringing in all of the ingredients, but still making it true to who you are. Alisa, thank you so much for joining me. It was really fun. I learned so much, and I wish that I had done this for my own wedding.
It's not too late. You guys can do a vow renewal.
I know, that's true. Something to think about, jumping the broom. Anyway, if you want to know more about Alisa and the work that she does, her amazing storytelling abilities, her information, website, and everything will be below this video. And if you like what you see here, please watch more videos at our website, www.notesfromthelightbox.com, and send us your burning questions. I look forward to hearing from you.